Fight Fat Podcast. Thank you very much for checking me out. This is Dancel, and today I'm not flubbing any words in the intro. The rest of the podcast, fair game, but the first 10 seconds, I got that down, homie. So today I want to get into a few things, including my introduction to martial arts, jiu-jitsu in particular, because it's something that's always going to stick with me. UFC Norfolk, Virginia, and the UFC 248, which is going to take place this weekend. So, whether you are one of the friends that I'm going to make watch this video 9 times for views, or you're actually somebody that just happened to stumble across this, I appreciate you all the same. Let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to start out with an abbreviated quote by the American gangster Chael Sonnen. He said, "James Krause will be remembered more for his coaching than he will for his fighting." And every week, it seems like, that statement becomes more and more accurate. James Krause is currently a UFC fighter, and he's also coaching a lot of other fighters. I don't know exactly how many, but I don't think I could count them on both my hands. And I don't know of any other high-level fighter that has divided his time between coaching, cornering, and fighting himself, to such a high level. And at UFC Virginia, as I'm going to call it, because I don't know how to pronounce Norfolk, one of those, I'm just trying to save you from my ignorance, truly. He was 2-0 at UFC Virginia, with Megan Anderson and Grant Dawson both getting finishes. Both fighters that he coached. So, I guess I don't have a whole lot to say about that. I just wanted to give a shout out to him. So, UFC Virginia, I made predictions on every fight in the main card. I was right for all but the money fight, of course, the championship fight. But, not too bad for my first outing. Grant Dawson submitted Derek Minner in the second round. Megan Anderson fired a right straight down the center line, knocked out Norma Dumont in the first round, which I was not expecting. Felicia Spencer got a first-round knockout. There were a lot of first-round knockouts of Zara Fern dos Santos. That was an unfortunate fight. From what I gather, Zara is a heavy-handed hitter, sort of like the Francis Ngannou, the female Francis Ngannou, maybe. But once she got taken down, she was lost. She was in a world of her own. She had no idea what to do. So I wouldn't mind seeing her back if she can figure out the grappling a bit more, because there's a saying. My hits, I don't remember who said it. My hits on the ground will make a black belt into a white belt. What that means is, even if you know the principles of bridging, shrimping, umpa-ing, to get into better positions, you start getting hit, and you become flustered. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. And that is definitely something that I've experienced myself. It's sort of like, wait, we're throwing punches now? This confuses everything. So, maybe just working until her brain forgets it, but her body remembers. So, those are strong words coming from a white belt. But and then Joseph Benavidez unfortunately lost to Figgy in the second round. That was a KO as well. There was one fight that I skipped over, which was Ian Cutabella versus Magomed Ankalaev. This is hopefully going to be overturned or ruled a no contest. I just don't want I don't want this to be a red mark on Ian's career for the rest of his career. Terrible stoppage. that I completely agreed with at first. It looked like Magomed threw a couple of head kicks that about took off Ian's head. Ian started wobbling, was on chicken legs, and Kevin McDonald stopped the fight at 38 seconds in. I was okay with this. I thought Ian was out on his feet until they showed the replays, and I discovered that was one of the most tragic stoppages I had ever seen. Ian had blocked the shots. He barely got hit by the head kicks, and he was rope-a-doping. He wasn't hurt. He was looking right at his opponent, Magomed, and his legs weren't nearly as wobbly as I thought they were. He was really just trying to lull Magomed in, and he was firing right hands in. So, that was a huge mistake on Kevin McDonald's part. But like I said, to my very, very unprofessional eyes, it looked like he was really messed up. But listening to several experts, John McCarthy, Big John McCarthy, one of the he sets one of the highest bars in reffing for MMA. He really had some words for Kevin McDonald, and yeah, he about as simply as he could explained why that was terrible, and why why being a referee is a really hard job, apparently. So there was that. Congrats to everybody that won. Figgy, I wish you had made weight, because you may have really just sacrificed the flyweight division, and that would really be unfortunate. I would be okay seeing a rematch of that fight, because I'm not going to say whether it goes one way or another, because for the most, Figgy won pretty decisively, but the only two saving graces is that Figgy missed weight, so he had an unfair advantage during the fight. And right before the knockout, there was an illegal headbutt that definitely stunned Joseph Benavidez, Jiu-Jitsu, and opened up a pretty bad cut on him. So, if they were to book an immediate rematch of that fight, I would be more than happy. I just want the flyweight division to be saved at all costs, and I think that's a pretty common feeling among fans. Mentioning Joseph Benavidez getting that cut above his eye reminded me of something that happened today that I wanted to bring up. During sparring, I got caught with a knee, and my lip got busted up pretty badly. There was some blood. I swear I didn't freak out, though. There was a little bit of blood, and now it's swollen. I'm hoping it's not getting in the way of me talking clearly today. I know I already have an annoying nasally voice. Hopefully, though, you can at least understand what I'm trying to, say to you today. That's something I never really thought about, because I already have a face perfect for radio and podcasting. But, yeah, I'm going to have to be careful. I got to take care of myself to make sure I can actually talk, Can't have my teeth knocked out, start speaking with a lisp. So, yeah, that's something I'm going to have to take care of. But I thought I would share with you. I was with a friend of mine. His name is Bane. He used to have the stature of a superhero, but now he's gotten too tall. He's like a supervillain. He's like Bane. And I am pretty calm. I've been doing this long enough now. I stay calm when I'm rolling, when I'm sparring, just kickboxing or MMA, whatever it is. I'm pretty calm. I'm there. I'm present. But when you're looking at somebody that's 1.4 inches taller than you, it gets a little terrifying. And I'm not going to say I froze. But I definitely didn't perform. I didn't do what I I knew that I should do. And I have the footage. I'm not going to show it to you guys. But I have the footage, and it's rough watching yourself not do, I'm screaming at my phone, like, hey man, How about you try to stop him from punching you in the face 38 times? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. So, thanks to Bane for rolling with me. Thank you to my other friend that recorded for making sure to get all of the worst possible angles of my body. And, if you're gonna, if you're gonna do something like this, don't beat yourself up too bad if you don't look perfect doing it. I had to pause the recording there for a second to allow my fit of sneezing to pass, but the world's scariest senior citizen, the soldier of God, Yoel Romero, versus Israel, the last stylebender Adesanya. UFC 248, what an exciting fight that I have no idea what's going to happen in. Yoel may come in and use his Olympic wrestling, hold him down and try to smash him until the final bell, or he may shuffle backwards towards him, do a backflip, and try to hit him with a Pele kick. I really have absolutely no idea what Yoel is going to do. I also don't know if Yoel has any idea what Yoel is going to do. Israel, the 185-pound middleweight champion, I think we have a pretty good idea what he's going to go for. He's going to try to box him up. He's going to try to cut angles, stay out of his range, and not get his head taken off. But I flipped the word. But that's definitely easier said than done. But there's nothing in his career saying that he's not capable of it. Kickboxing champion, UFC champion. That is so exciting. I'm almost going to be covering my eyes during that fight because I don't want either one of them to lose. From a company standpoint, Israel holding onto the belt is definitely good for the brand. Build him up as a champion, especially if they actually do want him to eventually move up in weight classes, fight John Jones, move up further, fight Stipe Miocic, which would be crazy to even think about right now. But that's I don't know how that's gonna go. Yoel, I think he knows this is his last shot. He's 42. He doesn't look his age, but he's 42. So I think he's gonna give it absolutely everything he's got. He's gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink, and then probably the kitchen sink. And it's gonna be. I'm flustered. I got nothing to say. I don't know. I'm just so excited to see how this works out. I love Yoel. I love Israel, and it's just in the words of Robin Black, a dynamite main event, my friends. So, shout out to Robin Black. Much better commentator than I am, obviously. But, I think that is going to be a barn burner. And I keep saying obviously, like when I just mentioned Robin Black being a better commentator than I am. By obviously, all I mean is that, like, a bucket full of rats pressed up to a microphone could make noises as intelligent as what I'm doing right now. So, UFC 248, the rest of the card, Israel Adesanya stopped Robert Whittaker, and Yoel couldn't do that in 50 minutes. But, each MMA math doesn't add up. But if I was gonna try to do MMA math, I would say Israel Adesanya. Yoel just doesn't use his wrestling. If the wrestling is really going to be the deciding factor here. It would be exciting to see Yoel finally, win a championship, and it would be crazy to see Israel be the first man of the UFC to stop Yoel. That's Well, I don't even know if I think that's gonna go to decision or if it's gonna be stopped. I can't make a prediction on this one. But for the rest of the event, I'll give it a shot right now. Alex Oliveira versus Max Griffin. I've definitely seen Alex Oliveira fight more, but the time I did see Max Griffin fight, it was very impressive. I believe he was fighting Thomas Gifford, who once replied to me on Instagram. Shouts out. I'm gonna go with Alex Oliveira. Am I? Yeah, he's the first person I said, so I'm not gonna change it. Neil Magny versus Li Jinglang. Not trying to offend with my pronunciation. I'm getting clogged up of names here. That may actually be a new segment now. Me mispronouncing several people's names every week. That's like I guess that's my first running bit I'm gonna have. I'm gonna go with Li Jinglang. And then at lightweight, we have Beneil Dariush versus Drakkar Klose. I'm going to go with Beneil Dariush, just because I'm more familiar with him. And then Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Dude, I never knew how hard it was to pronounce these names in UFC until I had to do it out loud into a microphone. These are really hard. But I'm gonna go with Weili, but that may change when right before the fight starts. I think just the power that she has can't be ignored, can't be disrespected, and I don't know. I don't know. If you've ever seen Joanna fight, she is very quick. She's always bouncing around. And then Weili is just like the female She-Hulk, I believe. Already has a name. Just, very technical, but just, knocks these girls silly. So she's the strawweight version of Amanda Nunes, it seems like. So, I'm gonna go with Weili, but I love the both of them. And then, you already heard what I had to say about Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. It's gonna be crazy. So I guess I should get into my fight of the week, which is Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa, that took place back in August. So that was really, in the truest sense of the words, battle of the bodies. Yoel Romero is the most bodied up old person I've ever seen. Paulo Costa may be the most bodied up young person I've ever seen. So that was definitely exciting, and it absolutely lived up to expectations. They were both throwing crazy shots at each other, and nobody got knocked out somehow. I think either one of their jabs would have killed me. So the fact that they eat the shots that they did, and if you have any interest in what I'm saying at all, you should look up Paulo Costa. You should watch the fight because it was insane. But you should look up Paulo Costa head kick Yoel Romero. In the picture, Paulo's shin is wrapped around Yoel's head. Yoel looks like he's made of putty, but somehow he powered through it, which is crazy. I have no words to express how much I respect and fear these gentlemen. That one went to decision. Paulo Costa won. It's a little controversial. Some people think he lost. Some people think he won. I think he might have lost. I think Yoel won that fight. But it was by decision, like I said. Something about Yoel's fights is that in the first couple rounds, He doesn't do a lot. He sits back and he loses the first 2 rounds, it seems like, every time now. But as the fight goes longer, he comes back. It's like he conserves his energy in the first few rounds, but also by doing so, he puts himself too far back on the scorecard. So like if he doesn't win by stoppage, he's gonna lose on the scorecards. Even if the fight was extended another 2 rounds, he may get the stoppage. But that's gonna be his struggle with Israel Adesanya, this weekend. If he sits back and loses too many rounds, trying to conserve energy or tire out his opponent, but doesn't get a stoppage, he may not get the nod in the decision. Which, it's definitely a hard sport. Let's try that again. It's definitely a hard sport to judge and to ref, and it's most certainly hard to predict. But if you could watch Yoel Romero fighting Paulo Costa, absolutely insane fight. Yoel does some crazy crap, eats some crazy shots, doesn't use his wrestling, and we love him for it. So thank you for putting on that fight, and I'm so excited to see what happens this weekend. So the last thing that I want to talk about today is my introduction to the martial arts. The sport that really got me into MMA is jiu-jitsu. And my first time rolling with somebody that knew jiu-jitsu was something I will never forget. I was at a graduation party for a good friend of mine, and somebody there, who is also a friend, I found out knew jiu-jitsu. He's a blue belt. So we all start wrestling around. I knew a little bit of stuff, from like what Joe Rogan would describe on his podcast. Like, I knew half guard, full guard, stuff like that. I thought I was hot stuff going in there, right? And the guy I'm up against, the blue belt, lays on his back. And already that was concerning. Because why are you doing that? Well, turns out he's very dangerous from his back. As I got closer to him, I'm like, oh man, I'm heavy. I'm gonna jump on his chest and hold him down. He's not gonna be able to do anything to me. Well, before I get to that point, I stuttered. He grabs my front leg, and then he crosses his feet and wraps them around my other leg in what's called X guard. And he proceeded to tear my genitals apart and just hold me there. And I was in a full split. And I'm not made to do full splits. And as much as I wanted to cry out in pain and embarrassment, I was so impressed with him. I said, teach me how to do this. So, yeah, he let me go. I got a couple packages of ice, put them on my delicates. I didn't actually need ice, but good massage. But yeah, he showed me how to do the X guard, and he showed me how to do an Ezekiel choke as well. So those were two things I was going. I practiced them. Like, I'm like, hey mom, can you come over for a little bit? Yeah, put her in an X guard, threw her to the ground. Ezekiel, my dog, I really miss him. And yeah, I was just from that moment when he did that to me, when he humiliated me in front of a crowd, the crowd that was at the party, I've been hooked ever since. And I'm so happy I had that horrible experience, because I don't know what the heck I would be doing if I didn't do jiu-jitsu, if I didn't do Muay Thai, if I didn't spend all of my time talking to a microphone, about this stuff. I don't even know what I would be doing. So thank you very much for that. You quite literally changed my life with that amount of pain that you put me in. And yeah, that's the podcast. Fight Fat Podcast number 2. thank you once again for checking me out. I hope I see you again soon.